This is the all new 11mm f1.8 lens, super wide, super blurry background lens, and I honestly think of all the Sony APS-C lenses, this one is the new content creator's dream. Of the new trio of lenses that Sony has dropped, this one comes with the button on the side that you can customize and use it to start and stop recordings, which is what I honestly like to use it for. Super easy when it comes to vlogging, honestly, just kind of holding it and then having access to that button right there, so you're holding the camera, works out phenomenally. Now, even though this doesn't have stabilization in the lens, if you do have access to a camera like the Sony ZV-E10 that has digital stabilization in it, then it'll work, or like the A6600 that has IBIS in it, then at that point you're good to go because you have IBIS in the camera. So there's ways to get around it, and even when you set it to active, it's super wide. So let's switch from the Sony 15mm f1.4 to the 11mm f1.8. just so you can see how much wider it would be in this scenario, and I'm super close to the camera. So now we're switched over to the 11mm at f1.8. You notice a slight difference in the blurriness of the background, but just how much wider that this would be. And when you crop in from like no stabilization on to an active stabilization, this is the kind of crop that you would expect when you switch from standard or no stabilization. It'd crop into something like this here, which is really wide. You can see we've lost all of the headspace that we had and all the stuff on the side to literally just being me on the actual screen. One of the coolest things that's different between this 11mm versus something like the Sigma 16 or this 15mm G lens by Sony is the minimum focusing distance. So you can get super close to various objects and literally still keep a wide aspect ratio and obviously the nice creamy background. One of my favorite ways to use this lens is honestly to turn it into vertical from the landscape mode, because honestly, yes, you can get something like the 10-18 or even the new 10-20 f4 lens if you want like something that's very wide, but it's the ability to have it wide and the blurry background that just makes it super sweet. So when you turn it into vertical mode, now you get and you capture so much distance back from you having to maybe scoot the tripod back and just stuff like that. So I haven't used this lens specifically for photography, but when I do want to take a thumbnail, again, the minimum focusing distance on this lens is super close, so you can get some really quirky different poses or thumbnails that you otherwise maybe wouldn't get with other lenses to make something look larger than life than it really is. So if you're looking to get a lens that's going to be great either maybe for certain vlogging situations, or you're looking for something that's going to be honestly going to live on a tripod, this is going to be the new go-to lens.